If you desire wealth, if you hunger for success, not merely as possessions or status, but as the full realization of your potential, then you must begin not with grand actions, but with the smallest habits of daily life. I have seen, studied, and advised the world's greatest achievers. And do you know the secret that binds them all? It is not genius. It is not fortune. It is not even the right connections. It is their devotion to a set of simple, often invisible disciplines, small habits, performed daily with consistency until they became part of who they are. You see, success is never an accident. It is engineered by those who have mastered themselves at the micro level. Every towering achievement begins in the silent hours, when no one is watching. The man who wins the day is the man who first wins the morning. The woman who builds an empire is the one who first disciplines her thoughts before the world has a chance to distract her. Let me speak plainly. If you are not yet wealthy, if you have not yet succeeded at the level you dream of, it is not because you lack opportunity. It is because your daily habits are not aligned with your desired destiny. Your life is a mirror of your rituals. What time you rise, what you do upon waking, how you treat your body, what enters your mind, how you speak, how you think, how you work, how you react to challenge, how you end your day. These things, done unconsciously by most, are the very keys to your future. Let us begin where all success begins, the mind. Each day must begin with intentional thought. Before you touch a device, before you speak a word to another human being, speak to yourself. Ask yourself, who must I become to earn the wealth and success I seek? Then answer it out loud. Declare your identity before the world has a chance to define you. This is not mere affirmation. It is identity training. A man becomes what he says to himself consistently. A woman transforms into what she repeatedly visualizes. Therefore, create a ritual of thought each morning, 5 minutes, uninterrupted, where you feed your mind with the image of your desired self, not what you hope to be someday, but who you are becoming today. Do not underestimate this. Most people drift through life reacting to what happens. The wealthy, the successful, the fulfilled, they direct their lives. And direction begins with thought. The next habit is movement. Your body is not just a vessel, it is the vehicle through which wealth is created. You cannot hold high energy with a neglected body. You cannot command respect from others if you do not first respect yourself. Do not believe that exercise is only for athletes. Movement is for warriors. Wealth requires stamina. Success demands discipline. A body trained daily becomes a mind disciplined hourly. I do not care how busy you are. You are not too busy to give yourself 20 minutes of movement. Walk briskly. Stretch with focus. Train with weights. Breathe deeply. Remind your body that you are alive and in control. Then comes nourishment, not just for your body, but for your mind. While others scroll through distractions, you must feed your intellect. Read something that elevates you. Even 10 minutes a day compounds into a library of wisdom over time. The average person wastes hours. The extraordinary individual gains mastery 1 page at a time. Do not consume garbage in the morning, news that distorts your thinking, commentary that amplifies fear, images that trigger insecurity. These are poisons, and a poisoned mind cannot build an abundant life. Instead, choose a book that speaks to your mission. Listen to an audio that reinforces your vision. Write down one idea that expands your thinking. The habit of mental nutrition is what separates thinkers from reactors. Now we turn to the power of planning. Every successful day is a pre-decided day. At the beginning of each morning, ask, what is the one action I can take today that brings me closer to my vision? Then schedule it, protect it, make it non-negotiable. Success does not require doing more things. It requires doing the right things repeatedly. You must not leave your day to chance. Set your priorities the way a general sets his war strategy. Decide what matters. Eliminate what doesn't. If you do not control your time, someone else will. This leads us to a habit so powerful, yet so underused: silence. I teach you this not for mysticism, but for clarity. In a world full of noise, the wealthiest people I have ever met are also the calmest. Why? Because they take time to think in silence. 10 minutes of stillness per day to reflect, to breathe, to detach from the chaos and recalibrate your energy. This is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Ideas come in stillness. Solutions reveal themselves in calm. And the man who can access this internal stillness amid the noise is always a step ahead. Now I must speak to you about attitude. Your attitude is a habit, not a personality trait, not a condition of circumstance. It is a chosen response. Practiced so often, it becomes your default. Wealth is drawn to those who radiate expectancy, not desperation. Opportunities flow to those who act from abundance, not lack. Train yourself to look for what is possible, not for what is wrong. Speak in solution. Think in outcome. Walk with faith. Each morning, before you face the world, anchor your attitude. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for? Write 3 things. Feel them. Let this emotion flood your system. Gratitude is the fastest path to power. You cannot be bitter and grateful at the same time. One emotion will dominate. Choose the one that lifts you. Gratitude rewires the mind for resilience. It builds emotional immunity. And when you practice it daily, you attract more of what you appreciate. Now, let us turn toward how you treat others. Relationships are not separate from success. They are the very soil in which it grows. Begin each day by asking, who can I uplift today? This is a habit: service. Not grand gestures, but small acts of thoughtfulness. A message of encouragement. A compliment given sincerely. A connection made generously. The man who adds value daily becomes valuable. The woman who uplifts others becomes magnetic. Opportunities travel through people. Your wealth will often come not from what you do, but from who you become in the eyes of others. Practice generosity, not just of money, but of spirit. This is a habit that never returns void. It compounds invisibly until one day it returns to you as trust, as partnership, as an open door. Now, allow me to tell you a truth that may surprise you. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you make your bed sloppily, if you skip small tasks, if you tell small lies, you are training your character to cut corners. The man who disciplines himself in the smallest acts becomes trustworthy in the greatest challenges. So build the habit of excellence in the things no one sees. Show up on time. Finish what you start. Speak with integrity. Do not wait until you are successful to live with honor. That is how success is built, in the shadows. Lastly, let us speak of reflection. At the end of each day, you must account for your progress. Ask, what did I do today that moved me forward? What did I do today that held me back? Write your answers. Reflect without judgment, but with responsibility. This simple evening ritual keeps you aligned. It course corrects before you drift too far. And it reinforces the identity you are building, not through wishful thinking, but through daily evidence. Every night, renew your vision. Review your goals. Imagine your success as already achieved. Let this be the final thought before you sleep. For your mind does not rest while you sleep, it processes. And the last input it receives becomes the blueprint it refines through the night. This is how a man programs his future. This is how a woman becomes unstoppable. Through daily, consistent, intentional habit. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Begin today. You may not see dramatic results overnight, but make no mistake, each repetition is a vote for the future you desire. And when the day comes that the world finally sees your success, they will call you lucky. They will not understand that you have been quietly, daily building the man or woman worthy of that success. They will see the fruits. They will never know the roots. But you will know. You will remember the mornings you rose in discipline, the nights you ended in clarity, the hours you spent becoming. And no one will ever take that from you. Let this be the philosophy by which you live. Wealth and success are not pursued. They are attracted by who you are becoming, one small habit at a time. Understand this. Repetition creates identity. Every small habit you practice daily is not just something you do, it is someone you are becoming. This is why I urge you to view your habits not as tasks to check off a list, but as bricks in the construction of your character. Your daily behavior is building a mental fortress, or it is digging your own defeat. Now let us take this even further. Most people think they must make major changes to see major results. That is false. In truth, small hinges swing big doors. It is the slight edge, the 1% improvement, that compounded over time separates the average from the extraordinary. Let me give you an example. A man who wakes 30 minutes earlier than the average individual gains 182.5 additional hours per year. That's over 4 extra work weeks without working harder, only by rising earlier. What can you build in 4 weeks that others sleep through? You say you want more time, but I say create it. How? By optimizing your pattern. Look at how you begin your day, but also examine what I call the transitional moments, those invisible windows between tasks, between meetings, between distractions. Most waste these moments. The successful multiply them. Take just 5 minutes between meetings to reflect, review your goals, or breathe deeply. Over time, you will find your focus sharper, your decisions wiser, your energy more stable. The habit of recovery, built into the micro moments of your day, is a habit of champions. And now, we must speak about another invisible habit. The language you use, we call. The words you speak, not just to others, but to yourself, are programming your subconscious mind. Most people speak like victims. I have to go to work. I can't afford it. That's just the way I am. Every time you use these phrases, you reaffirm a life you claim not to want. Train yourself to speak in power. Replace I have to with I choose to. Replace I can't with I am learning how. Replace I'm just not good at that with I'm becoming better every day. This habit of empowered speech changes how you see yourself and how others see you. Your language is your leadership. Closely related to this is the habit of decisiveness. The most successful individuals I have ever known were not necessarily the smartest, but they were the most decisive. Why? Because indecision is the thief of opportunity. While others are hesitating, doubting, overthinking, the decisive person moves, and movement creates momentum. Make it your habit to decide quickly on matters of principle and to act promptly on matters of progress. Yes, you will make mistakes, but far fewer than the man who never moved. And in motion you gain wisdom that the stagnant man never will. Now, I must challenge you to develop what I call the habit of personal standards. You must raise your standards, not for others, but for yourself. This is the invisible thermostat of your destiny. Whatever you tolerate internally will eventually show up externally. If you tolerate procrastination, distraction, disorganization, you will live a life of delay and disorder. But if you commit to cleanliness in your space, punctuality in your time, precision in your words, you will begin to walk in power others cannot explain. People will ask, what has changed? They will not understand that it is not one thing, but many small standards upheld daily that have shifted your reality. Do not wait for a crisis to raise your standards. Do it now by habit. Speaking of power, we must also discuss the energy of money. Wealth is not merely a material phenomenon, it is a reflection of value exchange. And value begins with your habits. What are your money habits? Do you know where your dollars go each day? Do you treat small amounts with respect? Do you save before you spend? Do you invest in assets more than entertainment? Let me be clear. Money is not evil. It is neutral. It is a tool. And when used wisely, it multiplies your mission. Create the daily habit of tracking your spending. Reflect each night on what you bought and why. Was it aligned with your goals or with your impulses? This simple habit, done for 30 days, can change your financial future because it forces you to become conscious where most are careless. In addition, I urge you to adopt the habit of value creation. Ask daily, how can I create more value than I consume? This is the mindset of the wealthy. In business, this means solving problems others avoid. In relationships, it means showing up with energy, encouragement, and clarity. In every arena, it means being an asset, not a liability. The habit of contribution expands your income, your influence, and your inner fulfillment. And here's a secret. The marketplace rewards value, not hours. You do not get paid for time. You get paid for results. Therefore, the person who creates more value in less time becomes irreplaceable. Now, you may ask, how do I become that person? By creating another habit, continuous learning. The world changes. Markets evolve. But the individual who reads, studies, and applies new knowledge daily remains relevant. 10 pages a day. 1 podcast per commute. 1 lesson reviewed and implemented each week. This is not difficult, but it is uncommon. And the uncommon are the ones who rise. Do not just learn for entertainment. Learn for elevation. Take notes. Test ideas. Reflect on what works and what doesn't, then teach it. For teaching reinforces mastery. Now let's address something even more personal. How you handle setbacks. Every successful person I've known developed the habit of reframing failure. They did not see it as shameful. They saw it as data. This is a mental habit. When you fall short, instead of asking, why me? Ask, What's the lesson? Write it down. Own it. Then move forward wiser. Make it a daily practice to journal not just your wins, but your mistakes and what you learn. This transforms pain into purpose, and it builds what I call resilient identity, a sense of self that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Let us now return to relationships. Wealth flows through networks. Develop the habit of intentional connection. Each day, reach out to one person with no agenda. Reconnect. Offer help. Share an insight. Ask how they're doing. Over a year, this is 365 touch points. Multiply that by a decade and you become a hub of trust, value, and influence. Your future collaborations, referrals, partnerships, they often begin with a single, sincere connection. But do not stop there. Make it your habit to document your network. Keep a list of people who matter, mentors, peers, prospects, supporters. Take notes on conversations. Follow up with intention. Those who remember others are rarely forgotten themselves. And now, perhaps the most overlooked habit of all, rest. Rest is not laziness. It is leadership. Your brain requires recovery. Your spirit needs renewal. Your body demands sleep. The individual who honors rest performs better, decides faster, and lives longer. Set a hard stop each day. Create a nighttime routine that allows your nervous system to unwind. No devices in bed. No emails after dinner. Replace digital noise with reflection, connection, or inspiration. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. Finally, let us return to purpose. All of these habits are just tools, but if they are not anchored in why, they will feel like a burden, not a blessing. Each day, remind yourself, why am I building this life? Who am I doing this for? What legacy do I want to leave? Make this your first habit, connecting to your mission. Write it, speak it, live it. For when your habits are tied to a purpose greater than comfort, they become non-negotiable. They become sacred. And the results will show, not just in your bank account or reputation, but in the quiet knowledge that you are living your life on purpose. Every day, every choice, every habit. Now that we have grounded ourselves in the daily disciplines of the mind, body, time, money, and relationships, it is time to refine a deeper, often less visible layer, emotional mastery. Wealth does not merely flow to those who think well or act with precision. It gravitates toward those who govern their inner world. Emotions left unchecked sabotage fortunes. Emotions mastered secure them. You must build a daily habit of emotional awareness. Begin each morning by asking yourself, what emotional state will I lead with today? Will it be calm confidence? Will it be gratitude? Will it be determination? Choose your state before the world chooses it for you. And throughout the day, monitor it like a skilled pilot. Just as a pilot scans his instrument panel mid-flight, scan your emotional dashboard. Am I reactive? Am I grounded? Am I proud of how I'm responding right now? Why is this so crucial? Because the untrained mind reacts, the trained mind responds. Success is not simply what you do, it's how you respond under pressure. One poor reaction can cost you a client, an investor, a relationship. But one composed response can win trust for life. Develop the habit of the pause before sending that email, before replying to that criticism, before escalating that argument. Pause, breathe, recenter. This pause becomes your power. You see, the most powerful person in any room is not the one who talks the loudest, but the one who remains most centered while others unravel. And to support this, you must cultivate a second emotional habit, forgiveness. Do not misunderstand me. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is freedom. Each morning and evening, release resentment. Let go of the invisible weight. Write it down if you must. Speak it aloud. I release this, for it no longer serves the man I am becoming. Resentment clogs the mind. It robs you of creative energy, and it keeps you anchored to the past while your future waits to be built. Let go, not for them, but for you. Then turn toward joy. Yes, joy is a habit. Most associate success with stress, with grinding, with grim determination. But let me share a truth few understand. Joy is a strategic advantage. Why? Because the joyful mind is more creative. It attracts people. It recovers faster. It endures longer. Carve out time daily, even 10 minutes, for something that stirs joy in your soul. A song, a walk, a moment of laughter, a conversation that lights you up. Do not delay joy until the outcome. Use joy as the fuel for the outcome. Now, let us shift from the internal to the external again with the habit of leadership. You may say, but I'm not in a leadership role. I say, leadership is not a title, it is a posture. Every day you have the chance to lead by example, by initiative, by presence. The habit of leadership is formed in moments most overlooked. When you offer to help without being asked. When you volunteer a solution instead of waiting for orders. When you hold yourself to a higher standard even when no one's watching. Begin each day by asking, where can I lead today? Maybe it's your family, your team, your community, or just leading yourself with strength through a difficult choice. Great leaders are not born. They are revealed, one habit at a time. Now, we arrive at one of the most sacred habits, solitude for visioning. If you do not regularly see where you are going, how will you know what to build? Visioning is not daydreaming. It is a ritual of creation. Set aside time, once per day, to close your eyes and see the life you are building. Where do you live? What kind of work are you doing? How are you impacting others? What does abundance look like for you, personally, financially, spiritually? See it with color, with motion, with texture. Do not merely hope for your future. Design it vividly, repeatedly, until your subconscious accepts it as inevitable. This habit aligns your decisions. It activates your intuition. It summons the opportunities meant for you. You are not meant to drift. You are meant to direct. And once your vision is clear, another habit must follow, daily alignment. Ask, is how I'm spending my time today aligned with the future I've envisioned? Most people have goals that contradict their habits. They want health, but their meals say otherwise. They want wealth, but their spending says otherwise. They want peace, but their schedule screams chaos. Alignment is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. It's built with tiny daily acts. Saying no to what's off mission, saying yes to what expands you. Asking yourself, is this choice building the man or woman who can hold the success I desire? You see, wealth and success are not goals. They are responsibilities. They demand a version of you that must be forged through daily alignment. Let me take you deeper now to the habit of silencing the critic. Not the critic out there, the critic in here. That voice that says you're behind, that whispers you're not good enough, that taunts who do you think you are. Make it your daily practice to notice that voice and then disagree with it. Speak back with evidence. I am not behind, I am building. I am not inadequate, I am growing. I am not an imposter, I am becoming. If you allow that voice to lead, it will sabotage your rise. But if you train your inner dialogue, you will walk into every room, every challenge, every negotiation with a power others cannot name but cannot ignore. This is not arrogance. It is internal alignment, and it is built with daily repetition. Next, let's talk about a rarely discussed habit, environmental elevation. The spaces you live and work in either elevate you or drain you. Each day, inspect your environment. Does this space reflect my future or anchor me to my past? Declutter one drawer. Replace one image. Organize one area. Add one item that inspires the person you are becoming. Even if you have little, treat it with dignity. Wealth flows toward order. Chaos repels opportunity. Make excellence visible, even in your surroundings. And now, perhaps the most transformative habit of all, creating before consuming. The average person wakes up and immediately consumes the news, emails, opinions, distractions. But the extraordinary individual creates before consuming. They write before scrolling. They strategize before responding. They act before reacting. Each day, claim the first hour for creation. Create your plan. Create your value. Create your inner state. Do not begin by reacting to the world's noise. Begin by amplifying your own signal. This habit, just 1 hour, can shift your trajectory for a lifetime. And now, I urge you to develop a habit so rare, so potent, that it may change your very sense of identity. Radical responsibility. Each day, repeat this mantra. I am responsible for everything in my life. Not in blame, but in power. When something goes wrong, ask, how did I contribute to this? What can I control? What can I change moving forward? This habit dismantles victimhood. It installs ownership. It turns every problem into a path. And it trains the mind to focus not on complaint, but on correction. No one can give you your future, but you can claim it through your choices, through your habits, through your relentless ownership of the life you're building. Let me pause here, not to end, but to remind you. All of these habits are choices. They are not reserved for the wealthy, the lucky, or the well-connected. They are available to you today. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a powerful pattern. And power is built through repetition. So I ask you, what habit will you begin today? Not next month. Not when you're more motivated. Not when things calm down. Today. Because today becomes tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes your future. Make that future inevitable by mastering today. Now that we have explored the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual disciplines required for success, let us bring these together into a unified code, a daily system of living that pulls wealth and power toward you like gravity. Let us begin with this truth. The man or woman who lives by design, not default, becomes unstoppable. But design requires ritual. The truly successful do not stumble into greatness. They engineer it through daily repeatable systems, rituals so ingrained they become second nature. Let me walk you through a full circle success ritual, a template you can adopt, modify, and embody. A ritual that weaves together everything we've discussed so far. It begins the moment you open your eyes. You do not reach for your phone. You do not dive into messages. You pause. In that pause, you declare, today is mine. Today I lead. Today I rise. You sit up. You breathe deeply. You center your spirit before the world enters your field. Then comes motion. Your body awakens. This is not exercise for vanity. It is movement to ignite your power. Even 10 minutes. Stretch, breathe, push your blood through your body. Remind yourself, you are not fragile, you are a force. Then you nourish, not just your stomach, but your soul. You open a book of truth. You review your written goals. You read something that reminds you who you are, and more importantly, who you are becoming. You write in your journal, what am I grateful for? What am I focused on? What am I committed to building today? From this place of clarity, you choose your one must-win priority for the day. Not 10, not 5, 1. You anchor your schedule around this priority. You schedule it first. You protect it fiercely. It becomes your non-negotiable act of progress. Now the world may enter. You answer your emails. You make your calls. But you do so from a place of centered power, not scattered reaction. Throughout the day, you guard your energy. You do not give it freely. You ask before each commitment, does this build me or drain me? Is this aligned or a distraction? You move with intention. You speak with precision. You create more than you consume. And when resistance comes, as it always does, you do not retreat. You reframe. This is not a problem. It is preparation. This is not an obstacle. It is opportunity in disguise. You take a break, but not to scroll. To breathe, to reset, to walk in nature, or think in silence. You honor your brain's limits so it continues serving you at full capacity. As the day winds down, you begin your shutdown ritual. You review the day. You ask, what did I do well? What needs improvement? What will I do differently tomorrow? You do not carry the stress into your sleep. You close the day with completion. You write your final thoughts. You visualize tomorrow's success. You remind yourself, I am on track. I am in progress. I am proud of how I live today. Then you rest, not with guilt, but with gratitude. You rest knowing you gave your day what it deserved. And that, my friend, is how the great live. Not once in a while, daily. But let me speak to your doubt. You may think, this is too much. I don't have the time. I'll never be consistent. To that I say, that is your current identity speaking. That is the old you, the one that lived by circumstance, not conviction. But the new you, the future you, is being shaped right now. You do not need perfection. You need progress. Begin with one habit, one ritual, one commitment kept. From there, momentum builds. Confidence rises. Identity shifts. The man who once procrastinated now executes. The woman who once doubted now believes. The individual who once survived now leads. And soon, these habits are not effort, they are effortless. They are not a struggle, they are who you are. That is the goal. To become the person for whom wealth, success, peace, and power are not distant dreams, but daily companions. And when you arrive there, you will realize something profound. You were never chasing wealth. You were never even chasing success. You were chasing who you knew you could become. The wealth was simply the byproduct. The success, a symptom. The recognition, a reflection. And that version of you, the clear-minded, healthy, focused, disciplined, generous, wise you, was always available. You just needed the habits to meet him, to meet her. This is the ultimate truth of success. It is not something you achieve. It is someone you become. Each small habit you build is a conversation with your future self. And each time you show up with integrity, you are saying, I will not betray you. I will not fail you. I will build the life you deserve. So do not ask if these habits work. They do. Ask, will I be the one who works them? Will you rise before others do? Will you train when it's easier to rest? Will you create when it's easier to consume? Will you speak with belief when others are silent in fear? Because the gap between who you are and who you could be is not talent. It is not fate. It is not luck. It is habit. This is what I have learned in all my years of studying great men and women. Those who dominate their industries. Those who transform history. Those who impact generations. They do not wait for the conditions to be perfect. They become the condition. And they do so through small, invisible, daily acts, over and over, until their lives catch up to the person they have become. So now the choice is yours. Today you can continue living by default, repeating yesterday, hoping tomorrow will be different. Or you can declare that today is the turning point. Not a grand announcement, not a massive overhaul, but a small, simple, sacred beginning. The new habit, the new decision, the new discipline. Stack them one on top of the next. Compound them, track them, celebrate them. For in time they will stack into a life so powerful, so aligned, so fulfilled, that those around you will whisper, how did you do it? And you will know. You lived by design. You built yourself first. You earned your success from the inside out. And that, my friend, is the only kind of success that lasts. So rise with intention, walk with conviction, and repeat this to yourself as a final declaration. I build wealth through who I become daily. I attract success by living aligned, consistent, and true. I will not drift. I will design. I will not wait. I will win. I begin today. Now go. Your future self is watching and smiling.